Most people have never had someone just listen to them for 10 minutes. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time someone truly listened to you? No interruptions, no quick advice, no story of their own slipped in between your words. Just silence, just presence, right there, with you. If you can't remember, you're not alone. Most of us spend our lives trapped in shallow conversations, where people wait for their turn to speak, not for their turn to understand. But Stoic philosophy reminds us, the one who talks too much exposes the ego. The one who listens reveals wisdom. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak." In today's world, the rarest skill isn't speaking beautifully, it's listening deeply. And that simple act, that quiet discipline, is what allows us to reach the deepest layers of another human soul. Part 1. The Art of Listening Without Interrupting. There's a man named Stephen Bartlett, a well-known host, who somehow makes his guests cry, open up, and share things they've never said to anyone before. Not because he speaks beautifully, not because he knows how to juggle words like other interviewers do, but because he knows when to stay silent. He doesn't interrupt, he doesn't steer the conversation. He lets the other person finish even when they stumble, even when the silence stretches on. That's what most of us forget, the power of silence. When you resist the urge to interrupt, you're sending a quiet message. I'm here. Your story matters more than my reply. And something begins to shift. The person in front of you starts speaking more. They become honest, unguarded, real. Because in a world full of noise, it's rare to find someone who truly listens. The Stoics had a word for this presence. Not just the presence of the body, but the full attention of the mind, anchored in this very moment. Part 2. The Power of Slow and Deep Questions. When someone shares something painful, don't nod just to move on. Don't rush to say, "I understand." Instead, ask slowly, gently. "Can you tell me more about that? How did that make you feel? Did it change you in any way?" Questions like these are keys. They unlock the deepest places within another person's soul. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, "Seek to understand what lies behind the words of others before you judge them." State, a Stoic does not ask to satisfy curiosity, but to understand. They don't ask to control, but to illuminate. Because they know, people are truly healed only when they finally hear themselves. Part 3. When Silence Becomes Medicine. There was a moment during a conversation between Stephen and a businessman. The man began to speak about his mother, the one he had lost. His voice trembled, his eyes grew heavy, and Stephen said nothing. "No, stay strong. No, time will heal." Just silence. 3 minutes passed, not a single word. The man cried, then slowly began to smile softly, as if the weight of his sorrow had finally lifted. We often believe that words are what heal, but sometimes what someone truly needs is your presence without judgment. Seneca once said, "Nothing soothes the soul like the stillness of one who loves." When you are silent, truly silent, you create a space for others to heal themselves. Not through reason, but through emotion. That is one of Stoicism's most profound lessons. Not everything requires action. Sometimes you just need to be there. Part 4. When emotions are reflected, connection is born. After someone shares their story, don't rush to conclude. Don't jump in to teach or to fix. Instead, reflect their emotion back to them. If they say, "I was terrified when my father left," you can simply respond, "Perhaps that made you feel abandoned." That reflection is how you quietly say, "I understand you." And no psychology textbook needed. No perfect phrasing required. Just honesty and heart. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you listen to another person with your soul, you offer them a safe place in a world filled with chaos." And in an age where everyone is trying so hard to be understood, the one who learns to understand others, he becomes the rarest kind of person. Part 5. The questions that make conversations meaningful. Most of our daily conversations revolve around the same small talk. How's work? And hot day today, isn't it? It's, did you see that new movie? Not wrong, but not real either. They help us start a conversation yet rarely help us connect. So, how do we make a dialogue truly meaningful? By asking questions that carry weight. Questions that make the other person stop, think, and realize, "I've never really asked myself that before." Try this. If today were your last day, what would you want to say to the person you love most? What truly brings you peace? What's your greatest fear, and have you ever spoken it out loud? These are not just questions. They're mirrors, reflections that allow others to see who they truly are. The Stoics called this logos, words with a soul. Not words meant for chatter, but words meant to illuminate the truth. Part 6. Presence, the still energy of the Stoic. All those techniques, the silence, the questions, the reflections, they're only the surface. Beneath them lies something deeper, something essential: presence. Presence begins when you step away from the self. When you stop wondering how you look, or whether you sound smart, or if you're saying the right thing. You simply exist right there fully. Not to impress, but to be present. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do not let your mind wander into the past or fear what lies ahead. Peace exists only in this very moment." And when you're fully here, the conversation becomes something else entirely, a form of meditation. People feel that calm energy and they open up. And you, in return, feel something even more powerful. A quiet, steady, inner peace. Part 7. The 10-minute challenge. Listen like a Stoic philosopher. I want you to try something today. No plans, no preparation, nothing complicated. Just choose one person, anyone, and give them 10 minutes of complete listening. No interruptions, no phone in your hand, no thinking about what you'll say next. Just listen. When they speak, look into their eyes. When they pause, don't rush to fill the silence. When they become emotional, stay there quietly with them. Those 10 minutes could change the way you connect with the world. Seneca once said, "He who listens to others also learns to understand himself." So don't see this as a lesson in communication. See it as a lesson in presence, a quality the Stoics believed is the purest form of wisdom. Part 8. The Stoic philosophy of communication, the power of stillness. In the modern world, we speak too much and listen too little. Everyone is waiting for their turn to talk. But in the middle of all that noise, the one who stays silent is the one who's truly heard. When you are silent, you are not weak, you are in control. When you listen, you are not passive, you are understanding the world. And when you dare to sit beside someone in their pain, not to fix them, but simply to be there, you're giving them a gift no one can ever buy: acceptance. Epictetus once told his students, "If you wish to be loved, do not strive to speak well, strive to listen deeply." A Stoic doesn't need words to prove their worth. They let their actions, their eyes, and their calmness speak for them. When you practice the art of listening, you are strengthening 3 Stoic virtues at once. Wisdom, because you understand that everyone has something to teach. Temperance, because you learn to hold back the urge to speak. Justice, because you give others the right to express themselves without fear of judgment. This is the Stoic way of conversation. Quiet, grounded, transformative. Conclusion. There are moments in life when the only thing you can do is sit beside someone in their pain. No words, no lessons, just presence like a candle glowing softly in the dark. And sometimes that's all they need to rise again. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be a refuge to others, not the storm." You don't need to change anyone. You don't need to fix their pain. You simply need to be there, still, sincere, fully present. Because, in the end, the deepest connections aren't built through words. They're built through meaningful silence and a heart that truly listens. If this message spoke to you, take a breath and remember it the next time someone needs your quiet strength. Let this be your practice, your Stoic meditation for today. And if you wish to keep walking this path of inner strength and calm, subscribe, stay with us, and grow together, one mindful moment at a time. Leave a comment below, just 3 words. I will listen. That's your promise. To yourself, to others, and to the Stoic within you.